Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shmati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading today morning from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 14 Text 29. Okay. Brahmadayo yat krita setupala yat karanam vishvam idam chamaya agya kari yasya pishacha charya aho vibhu manas charitam vidambanam. So we have been reading how Kashyap Muni is trying to pacify his wife Diti. Demigods like Brahma also follow the religious rites observed by him. He is the controller of the material energy, which causes the creation of the material world. He's great, and therefore his devilish characteristics are simply imitation. Lord Shiva is the husband of Durga, the controller of the material energy. Durga is personified material energy, and Lord Shiva, being her husband, is a controller of the material energy. So, Durga Devi, she is this material nature personified. That's why many people, they worship Devi, they say worshipping Mata, Devi Mata. Why? Because they know that this material energy, she is the one, she's the personification of material energy. So to get some material benefits, many people worship Devi Mata. They think she is the all in all. Many people, they don't realize that there's God behind this material nature. They think that this nature is the cause of creation. Like Prabhupada would give the example that many times we see scorpions coming out of the rice. So people think that the rice is the cause of the scorpion, but they don't know that the mother had gone inside and laid the eggs, So that's why the scorpions are coming out. But because they see scorpions coming out of the rice, they are thinking that the rice is the cause of scorpion. So he would say that is the same logic when people apply that this material nature, she's the cause of this creation. She's the cause of all us living entities, without able to realize that there is a supreme Lord behind this creation. There's the controller behind this creation. So, and who's Lord Shiva? He's the husband. He's the husband of Durga Devi. So he controls her. He's not the Supreme Lord. He's not our cause. He's not the one who's creating the living entities and creating the full creation. No, that's Krishna. That's Krishna. So now Lord Shiva, he's also the incarnation of the mode of ignorance and one of the three deities representing the Supreme Lord. So one of the avatar category that Krishna has, they are called the Guna avatar. Guna avatar are Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva, where Lord Vishnu is in charge of the mode of goodness, Lord Brahma is in charge of mode of passion, and Lord Shiva in the mode of ignorance. So that's why he's called as the representative of the Supreme Lord. As his representative, Lord Shiva is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's very great, and his renunciation of all material enjoyment is an ideal example of how one should be materially unattached. One should therefore follow in his footsteps and be unattached to matter, not imitate his uncommon acts like drinking poison. So instead of imitating that he's drinking the poison, people should learn from him that how he's not attached to the material world, not attached to the material nature. But what does he do? What is his activity? He's all the time, his mind is fixed on Krishna. He's always in meditation, thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna. So we should follow in the footsteps of Lord Shiva, that fix our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna and give up our attachment to enjoy this material world. Any questions or comments? If no, then we continue reading. Maitreya Vacha Sevam Samvidite Bhartra Man Mathon Mathe Tendriya Jagraha Vaso Brahmarshe Vrishaliva Gatatrapa Trapa. Maitreya said, Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of the great Brahmana sage, just like a shameless public prostitute. The difference between a married wife and a public prostitute is that one is restrained in sex life by the rules and regulations of the scriptures, whereas the other is unrestricted in sex life and is conducted solely for the strong sex urge. Although very enlightened, Kashyap, the great sage, became a victim of his prostitute wife. Such is the strong force of material energy. So what the scriptures say, that sex should be had only for begetting children and at a proper time, proper place. So the conception is so to invite a great soul. So there are rules and regulations to be followed. Now we do not even have the information of these of all these rules and regulations. Nobody cares about it because we all want to just indulge in our sense enjoyment. So text 31, Sa vidit vata bharyayas tam nirbandham vikrarmani natva dishtaya rahasi tayatho pavisheshahi. Understanding his wife's purpose, he was obliged to perform the forbidden act, and thus, after offering his obeisances unto worshipable fate, he lay with her in a secluded place. It appears from the talks of Kashyap with his wife that he was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and although he knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire, and thus he offered his obeisances unto fate. He knew that the child born of such untimely sexual intercourse would certainly not be a good child, but could not protect himself because he was too obligated to his wife. So here Prabhupada is saying that it appears that Kashyap Muni, he was a worshipper of Lord Shiva. And then although he knew that Lord Shiva is not going to be happy with him, he still could not resist his wife, and he gave into her basically, gave into her desire, obliged her desire. He knew that the child that is going to be born is not going to be a good child, but he could not stop himself, basically. So In a similar case, however, when Thakur Haridas was tempted by a public prostitute at the dead of night, he avoided the allurement because of his perfection in Krishna consciousness. That is the difference between a Krishna conscious person and others. Kashyap Muni was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life. Yet, he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. So then it seems that Kashyap Muni, although he's a great sage, and he is a very, very learned sage, he's of course a great personality because he's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, but he's not a pure devotee of the Lord. He's not a devotee of the Lord, and that's why he was not able to protect himself. He was not able to, at that moment when his wife was pleading with him, he was not able to check himself. Whereas the example is given of Srila Haridas Thakur, that such a beautiful young prostitute came to him, and she was speaking to him in charming words. She had arranged her clothing also in a very attractive way to attract a man's attention. And she was very young and beautiful. And still, she came to him three nights in a row. She came to Haridas Thakur, not only one night. And yet, Haridas Thakur was not at all attracted by her beauty, not at all given to sex desire. Because what? His mind was totally absorbed in Krishna. He was chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And at the end of the third night, in fact, the prostitute, she told him, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I came here to break your vows because somebody told me to come and pollute you. But I'm sorry I did it. But now I beg you to please give me initiation. Please accept me as your disciple." And Haridas Thakur initiated her. And she became a great Vaishnavi. And she was chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. He told her, "You chant Hare Krishna mantra with this, Tulsi. Give up your profession, give up all the wealth you have earned with this and chant." And she became very famous as a great Vaishnavi. That is the power of a pure devotee. That not only he saves himself, but he's able to save others. That's how a pure devotee is. He is himself so attached to Krishna that by being with him, others also get attached to Krishna. Others also get liberated. So Haridas Thakur was not born of a Brahmana family, nor was he himself a Brahmana. Yet he could protect himself from such an attack due to his being Krishna conscious. Thakur Haridas used to chant the holy name of the Lord 300,000 times daily. So Kashyap Muni, he is a great learned Brahmana. He is a great sage. So family-wise, Kashyap Muni is born in a very good family, whereas Thakur Haridas, he is not born in a Brahmana family. So then, but birth is not a qualification at all. Doesn't matter. Does not matter which family we are born in. Anyone can take up Krishna consciousness. Anyone can take up Krishna consciousness, perfect their own life, and help others to perfect their life by chanting the holy name, by hearing and chanting about Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes.
Any comments?
I think quite clear, no? Yeah.
Quite clear, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
connecting to Haridas Thakur is so beautiful.
I'm sorry?
Connecting this incident to
Yes.
Haridas Thakur is really
Yes.
understandable.
So we can see then, so because time is limited, each of us has a limited time. So we can see that we can use that time to engage in performing simply ritualistic activities, simple, some sort of puja, some sort of charity, because it's a pious thing to do. And the same time we can engage in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So the example, so we can see that the benefit we get by chanting Hare Krishna mantra is unimaginable, cannot compare with just performing some ritualistic activities.
Yeah, because even Kashyap Muni was a Sapta Rishi. He was one of the 7 rishis.
Yeah, so
And
he's a highly, yeah.
highly qualified person, considered very, very, and still he was not able to save. And Haridas Thakur was. So this is beautiful. This is something to really think upon, that it is so powerful mantra, Hare Krishna, that we are doing. In
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that just simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra can protect us from all types of danger.
Yeah.
All types of danger.
All types.
We do not have to separately endeavor, in different practices, doing different rituals, different things. Just chanting Hare Krishna mantra can save us from the greatest danger.
Yeah. And they say that you don't even have to, like, even if you're doing anything and chanting. I remember in one of the Saturday lectures when I was saying that I was, in the very previous time, I was chanting while watching the TV. And then the Mataji said that you never knew that is also giving you impact. It is not that, like, how slowly you progress in it.
Yeah.
So it is so powerful. Wow.
Yeah, just chant. There's no hard and fast rules for chanting. Just pick up the beats and chant.
This is really beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
And yet many people say can't. Prabhupada would say that.
Mm.
But
And the
it's
best
so,
part about this mantra is like there's no hard and fast rule. You have to sit down one place, even, and do it. Like compared to other mantras, like many, there are rules. But this one, like wherever you are, even if you're walking, you can chant,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. So true. That's why we are going to start the japa walk, We're going to walk and we are going to do japa also.
Mm.
Because, anywhere, anytime. So, text 32. Atho pashprishya salilam pranan ayamya vagyataha dhyayan jajapa virajam brahma jyotihi sanatanam. Thereafter, the Brahmana took his bath in the water and controlled his speech by practicing trance, meditating on the eternal effulgence and chanting the holy Gayatri hymns within his mouth. As one has to take bath after using the toilet, so one has to wash himself with water after sexual intercourse, especially when at a forbidden time. Kashyap Muni meditated on the impersonal Brahma Jyoti by chanting the Gayatri mantra within his mouth. When a Vedic mantra is chanted within the mouth so that only the chanter can hear, the chanting is called japa. But when such mantras are chanted loudly, it is called kirtan. The Vedic hymn, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, can be chanted both softly to oneself or loudly. Therefore, it is called the Maha Mantra or the great hymn. So, Maha Mantra can be chanted softly, can be chanted loudly, and as Neha pointed out, can be chanted at any time. There's no hard and fast rules. Anytime, anywhere, any place. We don't even need to first say, I have to take bath to do it. No. If it's even in the middle of the night, can chant anytime. So Krishna is so merciful. He's saying, just take it. I'm not putting any restrictions on you. Just chant this mantra. Otherwise, we might say, but it's, I have to still shower. I haven't showered. He's saying, no problem, just chant. But I haven't done this. But it's so late at night. It's not an auspicious time. He's saying, doesn't matter, just chant. He's so kind, Krishna, so merciful that he's giving us this mantra without any restriction. And he's saying anyone can chant, anyone, anywhere, any country, any gender, anyone. We just have to take it, because Gayatri, only Brahmanas can chant Gayatri, Not everyone can chant Gayatri. You have to be a Brahmana to chant Gayatri. And so we are not Brahmanas. Then what will happen to us? So chant the Maha Mantra, chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And then reading on, Kashyap Muni appears to be an impersonalist, comparing his character with that of Thakur Haridas. As referred to above, it is clear that the personalist is stronger in sense control than the impersonalist. So because it's mentioned here that he meditating on the eternal effulgence. So means Kashyap Muni, he was impersonalist, Brahmavadi, His realization was only until the Brahma Jyoti, the light coming from the body of Krishna. So also now it gives another strong point to notice that a personalist, a devotee of the Lord, is much more fixed, much more stronger than one who has fixed his mind on the impersonal Brahman. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita as Param Drishtva Nivartate, that is, one ceases to accept lower grade things when one is situated in a superior condition. It's like that, right? When we have something higher, we give up the lower. If we have a true diamond, a real diamond, then we'll give up the fake one. It's like that. One is supposed to be purified after taking bath and chanting Gayatri, but the Mahamantra is so powerful that one can chant loudly or softly in any condition, and he is protected from all the evils of material existence. So Bhagavatam is saying, just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just chant. Give up all other varieties of religion. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. So text 33, Ditestu Riditatena Karma Vadyena Bharata Upasamgamya Viprashim Adomukhi Abhyabhashata. O son of the Bharat family, Diti after this went nearer to her husband, her face lowered because of her faulty action. She spoke as follows. When one is ashamed of an abominable action, one naturally becomes down-faced. Diti came to her senses after the abominable sexual intercourse with her husband. Such sexual intercourse is condemned as prostitution. In other words, sex life with one's wife is equal to prostitution if the regulations are not properly followed. So this is the stance of Bhagavatam, the Vedas. The Vedas say that even within marriage, sex life has to be performed according to rules and regulations. So, text 34, Diti Uvacha. But as we just said, nobody wants to know about it, so nobody speaks about it. Nobody wants to look into it because we all want to, indulge as per our own whims. Ditiruvacha name garbham imam brahman bhutanam rishabo avadhit rudra patirhi bhutanam yasya karavam hasam. The beautiful Diti said, my dear Brahmana, kindly see that my embryo is not killed by Lord Shiva, the Lord of all living entities, because of the great offense I have committed against him. Diti was conscious of her offense and was anxious to be excused by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has two popular names, Rudra and Ashutosh. He's very prone to anger as well as quickly satisfied. Diti knew that because of being quickly angered, he might spoil the pregnancy she had so unlawfully achieved. But because he was also Ashutosh, she implored her Brahmana husband to help her in pacifying Lord Shiva, for her husband was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So Diti is like, oh, I offended Lord Shiva now, so you please pray to him that he will not kill my child and protect my child. Lord Shiva, we all know he's called Ashutosh. We pray to him and he's easily pacified, very easily pleased. And because he is easily pleased, then he gets himself in trouble also. Does anybody remember of the past time where he got himself in trouble because he gave the boon so easily? There was one demon that he had.
That Bamasur.
Yeah, that 1,000 arms or what? That he was playing the drum. And then Lord Shiva was enjoying dancing and he loved it so much. Said, you ask me what you want. Said, okay, whoever I put my head on, that person should burn.
Burn, yes.
And Lord Shiva said, okay. Now you see the characteristic of the devotee of Lord Shiva. He said, okay, I want to test it on you. Lord Shiva gave you this boon. You want to kill him?
Yeah,
he gave you the boon.
I know, right?
Just imagine. He's the one who gave you the boon and you want to kill him? I want to test if this boon works. So this is demoniac nature. That Lord Shiva Vicharo, he had to run and he went to Lord Krishna.
Krishna,
and
yeah.
Said,
and then Krishna went to, told Bamasur, right? And try, okay, just put your hand. How was the story?
Yeah, and then the demon got burned. And then Lord Krishna tells Shiva, you put yourself always in trouble and you come running to me. Because there are many instances he does that. It's also, we are going to read in the Krishna book with Kashi Raj, with the king of Kashi. That because Krishna, the king of Kashi, was a devotee of Lord Shiva, so Lord Shiva was protecting his city, but he was an enemy of Krishna, and Krishna was fighting. And finally, Lord Shiva had to give in because nobody can stand in front of Krishna. Then Lord Shiva apologized. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Is because he was my devotee, so I had to save him. I'm sorry, I had to fight with you. So then, so in other words, Lord Shiva might have been angry with Diti because she obliged her husband to transgress the law, but he would not refuse her husband's prayer. Therefore, the application for excuse was submitted through her husband. She prayed to Lord Shiva as follows. The best prayer actually to Lord Shiva is that, Lord Shiva, you're such a great devotee of Krishna. Please give me this devotion to Krishna. If at all we are praying to Lord Shiva, that's the best prayer that we can ask him. Please give me, you are so devotee, you're a pure devotee of Krishna. Please give me also devotion to Krishna. Next 35, Namo Rudraya Mahate Deva Yograya Middushe Shivaya Nyastadandaya Dritadandaya Manyave. Let me offer my obeisances unto the angry Lord Shiva, who is simultaneously the very ferocious great demigod and the fulfiller of all material desires. He is all auspicious and forgiving, but his anger can immediately move him to chastise. Diti prayed for the mercy of Lord Shiva very cleverly. She prayed, the Lord can cause me to cry, but if he likes, he can also stop my crying because he's Ashutosh. He's so great that if he likes, he can immediately destroy my pregnancy, but by his mercy, he can also fulfill my desire that my pregnancy not be spoiled. Because he's all auspicious, it is not difficult for him to excuse me from being punished. Although he is now ready to punish me because I have moved his great anger. He appears like a man, but he's the Lord of all men. So she's trying to appeal to Lord Shiva. Oh, okay, I know you get very angry, but I also know you get very easily pleased. So please forgive me for my offense. She's praying in that way. So, any questions or comments or anything to add till now?
No, I think it's clear.
Okay. So, what shall we do? Shall we stop here for today?
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you so much for joining in today morning. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai.